Mitch McConnell just openly threatened President Donald Trump. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't Mitch McConnell like 182 years old, and didn't he lose control of his brain last year?
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute.
The answer to both of those questions is yes. That performance, and a couple more like them, led to Mitch McConnell stepping down as Senate Majority Leader this year. And there was a battle. John Cornyn, John Thune, and Rick Scott all duked it out, John Thune coming out on top. But for some reason, Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch, the tortoise himself, for some reason still believes that he is in control of the Senate, because he, at a gathering in Washington, D.C., told somebody somewhere that President Trump would not get any recess appointments. How do we know that? Because there was a tweet from Jane Mayer, who works at the New Yorker, that says, "Message to Trump team, there will be no recess appointments," Senator Mitch McConnell said tonight at a Washington gathering. This tweet immediately went viral. It was retweeted by Charlie Kirk. It was retweeted by Senator Mike Lee from Utah, and it immediately was deleted. In fact, Jane Mayer went in, I'm not sure who told her to, but deleted the tweet where she admitted that she overheard Senator Mitch McConnell openly threatening President Trump's cabinet nominees and their confirmation process by saying, quote, "There will be no recess appointments." Now, this has been confirmed by a second source. Mitch McConnell has had no comment on this issue whatsoever, but it's quizzical for a couple of reasons. Number one, Mitch McConnell is no longer the Senate Majority Leader. He gave that up, again, probably because, well, it was just too much for him to handle mentally and or physically. But for whatever reason, he still believes he has an iron grasp on the leadership, aka John Thune. However, there are plenty of other senators who don't like Donald Trump or his appointments who could stand in their way. In fact, it's not just Mitch McConnell. He may be the biggest threat to Trump's cabinet appointments, but he's not the only one. There's also Senator Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, who, until Mitch McConnell stepped in and funneled money to her campaign, was doomed. She was a dead woman walking. Kelly Tshibaka had all but wrapped up the Republican nomination in Alaska. And I don't know if you know anything about Alaska, but it's a pretty red state. Any Republican who gets the nomination is going to win. There's no need to send money over there to buy ads or to attack your other adversaries or the Democratic candidate. If you win the primary, odds are you'll be the next senator. And Mitch McConnell did not want Kelly Tshibaka winning the primary, so he spent millions of dollars unnecessarily to help Lisa Murkowski. And man, she looks really happy about it, doesn't she? As a result, Lisa Murkowski is a Mitch McConnell acolyte. She owes her entire political career to him and will do anything to help him, even vote against Donald Trump's cabinet appointees. Also, she's not a big fan of Matt Gaetz or Pete Hegseth or Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Also, there's Susan Collins from Maine. Susan Collins from Maine has openly said that Matt Gaetz, especially, who is Trump's pick for Attorney General, has, quote, an uphill climb. She said she also is not a huge fan of Tulsi Gabbard and believes that she may have some spy blood in her. She may not have the best interests of Washington, D.C. or the United States of America at heart. Being from Maine, she's also a Republican in a highly liberal area. I don't know if you've seen New England, but there's not a lot of red states up there. And she's got to run the middle of the road for her political life. Susan Collins has also been around longer than most senators, and again, owes a lot of her success to Mitch McConnell. She's another one that would do probably anything Mitch says. Then there's Senator-elect John Curtis. This guy hasn't even been sworn in. This is the guy that took Mitt Romney's seat in Utah, and he's basically Mitt Romney 2.0. He was in favor of censuring President Donald Trump. He's already spoken out against some very conservative initiatives. He's pro-climate change stuff. He's definitely not a hardcore conservative, and he's more of a centrist than anyone would care to have in the caucus. Plus, he's not a big fan of Matt Gaetz. Why? Well, Matt Gaetz traveled to Utah to openly campaign against John Curtis. He called him weak and said he was more concerned with foreign interests than domestic ones. If anyone would be happy to vote against Matt Gaetz's confirmation as Attorney General, it would be this guy. And then there's John Cornyn from Texas. And John Cornyn from Texas is not only another Mitch McConnell acolyte, not only born and bred of Mitch McConnell's Senate, not only buddy and BFFs with the former Senate Majority Leader, but he also just lost to John Thune. And while they were campaigning, he openly said to President Trump he'd be all for recess appointments. And while he was campaigning and trying to tally votes in the Senate to become the next majority leader, he was all gung-ho to jump on the Trump train and help President Trump get his cabinet in place so they could execute their agenda ASAP. But then he lost, and now all bets are off. This is a guy who is now begging the House of Representatives to release the Ethics Committee report on Matt Gaetz that they never released because Matt Gaetz left Congress. When he resigned from Congress, there was no more report or no need to release the report. Well, John Cornyn doesn't want to move forward until he sees everything the House Ethics Committee found in their investigation of Congressman Matt Gaetz. This is another guy who, especially since he has no leadership position and nothing else to lose, will definitely vote in lockstep and in any way that Mitch McConnell tells him to. Recess appointments are, for President Trump's nominees, at least a handful of them, looking more and more like the only way forward. And it all rests on John Thune, the new Senate Majority Leader. If John Thune keeps his word to President Trump and releases the Senate, recesses the Senate so that Donald Trump can have his appointments, then Matt Gaetz and RFK Jr. and Pete Hegseth and any other future nominee that comes into question by these 5 Republicans will sail through without an issue. But if John Thune still has more loyalty to Mitch McConnell than he does President Trump or the American people, we could run into some problems. There is, however, one thing that I think all of these Republicans need to realize, that the majority of voters who supported President Trump, the 80 million or so Americans who went to the polls and voted for President Trump and President Trump's agenda and voted to make America great again, they didn't vote for Republicans. They voted for President Trump. And if there's a question of whether President Trump gets the cabinet he wants or a senator has to get primaried next time around, I'm pretty sure that's an easy decision for a lot of those same voters to make, which will probably leave someone like Mitch McConnell speechless. Although that's pretty much how he is these days.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator Benny.
Did you like this video? Do you want more content just like this? No problem. I'm here all the time. But you've got to make sure that you like, subscribe, and set notifications so that you'll never miss another video from me, Mark Kaye.